Freddie Mercury died last night.
Freddie Mercury died last night.
He died last night.
Freddie Mercury, who died last night from AIDS.
When Freddie Mercury died in 1991, he was worth millions. In his will, he left half his fortune, his London mansion, and the secret of his ashes to one woman. Her name was Mary Austin. Most fans had never heard of her. She was not his wife. She was not his lover when he died. She was not a member of Queen. And yet, 2 months before he died, Freddie Mercury sat down and wrote her name on every line of his will, half his fortune, his future royalties, and one final wish he trusted to no one else on earth. So why? Why did the most famous rock star in the world trust this woman more than his family, his bandmates, his lovers? Here is what we know. When Freddie Mercury died, he left one final instruction. He asked Mary to collect his ashes and scatter them somewhere private, somewhere no fan would ever be able to turn into a shrine. She carried out his wish, alone, quietly. And more than 30 years later, Mary Austin is still the only living person who knows where Freddie Mercury is buried. Not his bandmates, not his family, nobody, just her. That is not something you ask of an acquaintance. That is not something you ask of a colleague. That is the one thing you ask of someone you would trust with your life. So who was she? And how did a quiet girl from West London become the keeper of Freddie Mercury's last secret? Mary Austin grew up in working-class West London. Her father cut wallpaper in a factory. Her mother cleaned houses. Both her parents were deaf. She grew up learning how to sit with people in silence, how to keep a family's private world completely private. She had no idea those were exactly the things someone would one day need from her. A few streets away, a young man was selling second-hand clothes at Kensington Market. His real name was Farrokh Bulsara. He was not Freddie Mercury yet. A refugee's son from Zanzibar. Brilliant, burning, and hiding almost everything about himself from almost everyone he met. 2 people, 2 streets apart, both of them carrying things they couldn't show the world. When Mary first saw him, she thought he was too loud, too theatrical, too much. She had no idea he would become the most famous rock star on earth, and he had no idea that the quiet girl from West London was the only person he would ever fully trust.
He would smile and say hello in passing, and finally he asked me if I wanted to go out on a date.
They met in 1969 through the same circle of musicians in West London. Their first real night out, a concert at the Marquee Club. She remembered it later.
He was very open, very warm and funny. We gelled, which is not what I'd thought.
They started meeting at lunchtime. He didn't have much money, half a lager. Then she'd go back to Biba, the fashion boutique where she worked. He'd go back to the market. Simple, ordinary, real. And something happened that neither of them expected. They recognized each other. Freddie Mercury showed the world everything, except the truth. Mary Austin was the one person he never hid from. He was a refugee's son, always the outsider, always performing a belonging he didn't quite feel. She already knew how to love someone without asking them to explain themselves. Mary said later,
He was very confident, and I have never been confident. We grew together.
They moved in together, a small flat in West Kensington. Queen was just beginning. For a while, it looked like Freddie Mercury might actually have an ordinary life. Then everything changed. In 1973, on Christmas morning, Freddie gave her a large box. Inside the box was another box, then another, then another. At the center of the last one was a jade ring. He asked her to marry him. She whispered,
Yes, I will.
But something was shifting. Freddie was coming home later and later. The parties were getting wilder.
I didn't know who he was with or who he was seeing, but I had a good idea, but I wasn't absolutely sure.
Mary went to him and said,
Something is going on. I feel like a noose around your neck. I think it's time for me to go.
I could see that he was feeling bad about something.
He insisted nothing was wrong, but in December 1976, he finally told her the truth. He said he thought he was bisexual. Mary looked at him quietly. Then she said,
No, Freddie, I think you're gay.
Everything changed in that moment. Most relationships would have ended there. Theirs didn't. She could have walked away. She had every reason to. Instead, he bought her a flat around the corner from his new address. She worked for his management, traveled on his tours. In 1980, when Freddie needed a home in London, it was Mary who found Garden Lodge, the house he would live in for the rest of his life. She chose it. He bought it the same day. She ran the household, managed his finances, knew where everything was and how everything worked, who Freddie trusted and who he didn't. As the world fell in love with Freddie Mercury, Mary Austin became the only person who still knew the frightened young man underneath the performance. She had known him when he was selling clothes on a market stall with holes in his shoes. She knew who he was before the world decided who he was. That you cannot replace. Love of my life was for Mary. He became godfather to her son. And while the world screamed Freddie Mercury's name in stadiums, Mary Austin was still the person he came home to. He said it many times. The only friend I've got is Mary. To me, it was a marriage. In April 1987, Freddie Mercury was diagnosed with HIV. For 4 years, he disappeared from the world piece by piece. Mary was one of the first people he told. She carried it with him every day, while the rest of the world had no idea. She provided around-the-clock care as his condition worsened. Mary managed the house, managed the staff, managed everything, so that Freddie could simply exist in the time he had left. In his final months, she came to Garden Lodge every day. The man who had performed for 1 billion people was now in a room getting smaller. She came anyway. She sat with him the way she had learned to sit with her parents. Present, quiet, steady, not trying to fix anything, just there. On November 23, 1991, Freddie released one public statement, one paragraph. He confirmed he had AIDS. He asked the world to join in fighting the disease. The next day, he was gone.
Freddie Mercury died last night, the day after he announced that he had AIDS.
Mary was holding his hand. When the will was read, the world finally understood. Half his estate, the mansion, half of all future Queen royalties. When Freddie's parents died, their share of the royalties passed to Mary, exactly as he had written in his will. Today she receives 75% of everything his music earns. This was not the emotional decision of a dying man. This was a lifetime of trust, written down, page by page, years in advance, and written directly to her. You would have been my wife, and it would have been yours anyway. Even after his death, Freddie Mercury kept finding ways to leave more of his world to Mary Austin. His final wish: collect his ashes. Scatter them somewhere secret. Tell no one. After his death, Mary kept his urn in his bedroom at Garden Lodge for 2 years. Then one morning, she quietly slipped out of the house, making it look like a normal day so the staff wouldn't suspect anything. She scattered his ashes alone and never told a single person where.
I never betrayed Freddie in his lifetime, and I'll never betray him now.
She still lives in Garden Lodge, behind high walls in West London. For more than 30 years, she kept his world exactly as he left it. Then in 2023, Mary Austin did something nobody expected. She put nearly 1,500 of Freddie Mercury's personal belongings up for auction at Sotheby's in London. His costumes, his handwritten lyrics, the piano from Bohemian Rhapsody. Fans came from all over the world just to stand near the things he had touched. Mary said quietly,
The time has come to close this very special chapter of my life.
After more than 30 years of protecting his world, she was finally trying to live outside of it.
When he died, I felt we'd had a marriage. You could never have let go of Freddie unless he died. And even then, it was difficult.
Freddie Mercury performed for millions of people. In the end, he trusted one, Mary Austin, who was there before the fame. And there at the end,